Oh, man, what's going on? What's up with y'all? It's your boy D from back. Episode number 118 of Different Daily is back in the building. We got a lot of things to get into today. A lot of things to discuss. I got DJ Envy's wife faking orgasms for 10 plus years. I got the 6ix9ine Hassan Campbell Whack 100 drama that spilled over into Clubhouse drama. I got this nasty guy, nasty man, Kalon Walker. We got to talk about that story because it's another instance of Hollywood debauchery. There's another instance of Hollywood being one of the most evil, nasty places in society. That's like the main big thing I want to discuss, but I'll talk about that later on in the show. We also got to talk about Mac Miller's drug dealer. We got to talk about that as well. And also, Kendrick Lamar. He's back. He's coming in. So, anyways, salute to everybody that's watching right now live, or salute to everybody that's watching on the playback. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe right now so you know every time they upload either the full podcast when we go live or whenever I drop the clips later on throughout the day. Also, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Search up Different Daily if you want to listen to the audio versions only of this podcast, of this show. Salute to Trailer Photographer, always in the building, always in the comment section. Salute to you, big dog. So, this beat hard as fuck. DJ, DM me this beat, D-Friend. I got you. I found it somewhere on YouTube. But anyways, the first thing that I want to get into today is, and I want to get into this first because this is short and sweet, and it ain't really too much to talk about until the shit come out. So Kendrick Lamar, me and Bryce been talking shit about Kendrick Lamar. It's been 5 years. Where you at? No music, no inkling of nothing. You did a little thing with your cousin, kind of trying to blow up his career, set your label up, whatever. He's announced he's back May 13th. What's it called? Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I'm expecting spectacular. I can't expect nothing less but spectacular from Kendrick Lamar. So when you make me wait for something for 5 years, it better be. I feel like it's more pressure. Like if you give me something yearly, maybe you didn't have too much time to craft it. Maybe you didn't have too much time to work on it. Maybe you didn't have too much time to experience new things and put new thoughts into your album. But if you make me wait 5, damn near 6 years for an album, this better be the best shit I've heard in the past 5 years. That's how I think about it, especially whenever I think about a person like Kendrick Lamar, who, like I say, I think he's a great artist. I think he makes great music. And for someone like that to wait 5 years, I'm expecting it to be something otherworldly, something spectacular. When I think of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I don't know, the first thing I thought when I heard that, I said, hopefully it's a up-tempo type of album. I know we've been going through a lot of shit. 2020, we had COVID, we had George Floyd, we had Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, tragedy after tragedy. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't want a To Pimp a Butterfly. I want something more like Damn, but on another level, or even Good Kid, Mad City, but on another level. I don't need a To Pimp a Butterfly after waiting for 5 years. I'm just being honest. That's what I don't need. I don't need that. So it comes out May 13th, next month. And I'm sure, I would assume, since he announced it early, he didn't just drop it, that there'll probably be a single of some sort, a video of some sort dropping within the next week or two. I would just assume that. So I'm excited about that and I'm ready for that. So Trailer Photographer says, this album better not be mid. I feel this could possibly be the start of his decline. I mean, the thing about him, though, this is the start of his decline. He been gone for 5 years. And my generation's legends, the Drake, the Coles, or whatever, they're now going to start to become, well, actually, I don't know, because they're still like on top of the game. But they're like more like the young, it's a young thing, right? The young guys are in, they're doing their shit, they do whatever. So his career could damn near be over regardless if this is a good album or a bad album, and he'll still be a legend in whatever shape, way, or regard. But my point is, if you make me wait 5 years for some shit, it better be some top-notch shit. If I gotta wait for it, I'm sitting here anticipating. Damn, they dropped 1 million people. Imagine all the rappers from the time Kendrick dropped to now that have risen and fallen just within the 5 years. Think of all the rappers that came out within the 5 years Kendrick hasn't dropped the album that have came up, fell down, nowhere to be seen. And lucky Kendrick's a legend. People are willing to wait for his project. And I'm expecting big numbers. Now, I know I've been wrong about numbers a lot lately. I thought Mulatto was going to sell okay. I thought Coi Leray was going to sell okay. I thought Fabio Foreign was going to sell okay. Kendrick Lamar, I'm expecting numbers of the astronomical 700, 800,000 realm and range. I'm just being honest. Drake's last one, Certified Lover Boy, had the little Kanye back and forth shit. That one did 680. I think a Kendrick 5-year hiatus is, 700 to 800 to me isn't like nothing crazy. Now I could be wrong. Maybe it's up 500, but it's Kendrick Lamar, so we'll see. I may be shooting over the moon once again, but that's what we could be looking at when we're talking about a Kendrick Lamar type of album. Lydia says she agrees. Good Kid, Mad City or bust for me. He needs solid GOAT features on this project, no less. I mean, I feel like for him, this is the thing I think about this album. This album is going to be his leap into his new label, whatever the Oklahoma shit is that he released it on, the PG Lang, which I think is the label. I think this is an introduction to his new label, so I feel like he will be using a lot of people that are associated, maybe new talent we haven't heard of, either to do background vocals, this and that. That's why I feel like this album is gonna be like, right? We need a meal first week, no cap. Gonna be some Adele numbers. I don't know. Adele did 2 or 3 million first week. I don't know if Kendrick got a 2-3 million in him, but I'm expecting like I said, I'm expecting like 800,000 first week for Kendrick Lamar, just off hype, anticipation, hiatus alone. 800 is the mark that I'm setting for this album, right? So, anyways, like it's coming out. Maybe depending on my boy Bryce's schedule, maybe we'll do like a live listening type of event for that project when it does finally release and when it finally does come out. So, speaking into other realms and other ponds and pools of hip hop, Academics dropped his second interview with Tekashi 6ix9ine. Obviously, Tekashi has a song to promote. He's out here doing his thing with him and Whack 100 again. And now the insert of Hassan Campbell. You know who Hassan Campbell is? I've done a couple videos on him. Street guy. You know, all that cringe shit, right? I get people from the streets. I get people got to do what they got to do. They live a certain lifestyle. They do what they do. But a lot of things that street guys do, especially like the vocal street guys, the guys that are actively on social media, the Clubhouse street guys, the YouTube street guys, a lot of shit they do to, I guess you would say, square people, to me looks strange, right? And that's how I describe Hassan Campbell. It looks strange, the shit that he be doing. So I just want to give some of the takeaways from the interview because I watched it. It was very hard to watch because I wouldn't even consider that a podcast. I would consider what happened on that in that interview, even if it wasn't even an interview, in that discussion was pretty much like Clubhouse, face-to-face, no control, screaming, yelling, nonsense, going one way, going this way. But you know it's going to get views, it's going to get talked about, it's going to do whatever. So for a media thing, it's good. One thing that I took away from the interview, one main thing is, I'm wondering, is this about to be some 6ix9ine 2.0 type of shit going on? Because he's dropping new music, and what does he immediately do when he drops new music? He goes and gets the street guys. Get behind me. Be my I don't want to say cheerleaders, but be my look. Be my entourage. And the difference is now there's no OG that took him in, right? There's no Shotty, there's no Mel Murder, Harv, whatever. It's just a bunch of young guys who will probably do whatever they got to do to get out of whatever situation that they are currently in. So I'm looking at that shit as like, you can't be like that stupid to want to put yourself in a situation with the guy who y'all literally just seen got his whole team who he came up with, right? And I do place blame on those guys, the Treyway niggas as well. Like, I don't think it's just like 6ix9ine, like, you grown-ass men doing shit for him, like, you're dumb. But why put yourself in a situation like that again to potentially be caught down that same road? Because if y'all do things illegal with this guy, you already know how that's going to go. And I think with 6ix9ine, it's all just imagery. It's all just flash. It's all just bullshit. When you watch it, it looks like an act. It looks like something that could be turned on and turned off. They say it's not. They say it's real. They say it's how he acts. It's how he whatever. It looks like an act that could be turned on and turned off. Because when I see him with the white boys, it's a different 6ix9ine. It's Danny Hernandez. When he watch videos of him when he's with the Nelk boys and he's not trying to do rap shit. when he's doing whatever suburban rich guy shit, go watch him with the Nelk Boys. But then it was like, okay, now I gotta get to this hip hop shit. I gotta start releasing music. Now I gotta go to 6ix9ine, the street. It's like, it's clearly a facade. You're a nice guy. Just be a nice guy. You don't gotta be a street guy. Make your music, do whatever you want to do, and that's it. He's still trying to prove to people, but I don't know what the fuck he's trying to prove. We've seen it. You got the guys, you snitch, you whatever. People either agree with you or they don't. You know my stance on if you watch this show for a while. I don't give a fuck. I'm not a street guy. If he did that for self-preservation, hey, he's self-preservating. And he's obviously willing to take whatever consequences come with that type of self-preservation, right? So when I see these guys in the background hyping them up, hey, this is my guy, we the goons, the guys are here, da-da, it's like, I just hope y'all youngsters, because we see what's going on in New York. There's a lot of wild shit going on. Guys getting murdered every day. The mayor's trying to blame drill music for that. Just be, and now it's Hassan Campbell, which would surprise me, is in a room full of whatever's going on, to me, when he's speaking, he seemed like the most sane one that was talking about all the shit. Because he's trying to let, hey, 6ix9ine, if it goes down crazy here, you're going to snitch on all these guys like you did your guys? Like, y'all got to be cautious about shit like that. I get it. If they said that place they shot that music video in front of recently was where they live, where they're from. That shit don't look like something good or somewhere you want to live at. So I get it. Y'all looking at 6ix9ine like a meal ticket. Shotty and them also looked at 6ix9ine like a meal ticket. And now look where they at. And look what they had to go through. Look what they had to do. So my thing with them young kids and all that type of shit is just be cautious. Don't throw your life away for social media entertainment. Because at the end of the day, all this hoorah with 6ix9ine is pretty much social media entertainment. It's entertaining to watch. And I've been a 6ix9ine, I won't say like a big fan, but when he was dropping shit, when the early shit, the shit was crazy. The shit was good. But now it's too easy to see that the shit's a gimmick. It's just a ploy to sell albums. It's not like a real thing, right? So, anyways, also Hassan and Wack 100 ended up going off of the interview, and obviously, like I said, they go to Clubhouse. Clubhouse, I always say, Clubhouse is the worst place in the world. It's full of uppity motherfuckers that think they're better than everybody. They have the greatest opinions. They're so progressive and they're so whatever. And then there's also the other side of Clubhouse we see that's a bunch of the street niggas screaming at each other, claiming that when they see them, they're going to do something. You can't come here. You can't come there. You can't do it. Like I said, from the outside looking in, as a guy that would be quote unquote on the sidewalk, a lot of shit looks corny. Like they say shit guys on the sidewalk or squares do is corny. A lot of shit we see street guys doing on the internet is way cornier than anything we see average guys doing in real life. Let's just be honest when it comes to something like that. So anyways, this is how their little back and forth went because, like I said, Hassan Campbell's in the interview trying to kind of school the young guys on what, they need to be prepared for when being associated with a guy like 6ix9ine. Let's take a listen.
Listen, when I went to that table, you ain't give me no guidelines to say this is entertainment. So I went in there with the mindset.
You don't know this entertainment, bro? What the fuck are you talking about? It's a podcast.
I'm a real nigga. And I didn't walk in that.
We're at academics table. This is not a gang meeting. Fuck that real nigga shit.
Let me talk.
You're not a real nigga, son.
First of all,
Hey, Wack, let him get
Hey,
off.
look, blood, I ain't saying nothing I ain't said right there, dog. Man, listen, man. Fuck all that fako, daco ass shit, bro. That's academics table. Leave the real nigga shit over there, bro. Because we all know where we was coming to. Academics, 6ix9ine, kill that shit, bro.
He gonna tell on anybody that.
Wack, you know they
bro.
bitch made.
And did y'all say that? Hey, Wack, did y'all say that in the interview?
Academics is in there saying I'm snitching on everybody. Mm-hmm. Bro, cut it out, bro.
Yo, what the fuck that got to do with anything, though?
Because you making it look like this is some motherfucking, like this some real round table type gangster shit.
So what happened to the nigga?
All right, so if you watch the interview, you understand what I'm about to say. What blew my mind is he's saying, why are we sitting here talking about gangster shit like it's a round table when they was literally talking about gangster shit damn near the entire time they was at the podcast. 6ix9ine was defending himself. I can walk around anywhere. I'm never scared. I do this. I do that. I fly out. No security. Nobody's going to touch me. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. The other guys, they keep talking about they're official. We're not scared of nobody pressing us because we were hanging around with 6ix9ine. He's a rap. This a rap. They all talking about street shit the whole fucking time. So my thing was, when I was listening to Hassan Campbell talk, he just sounded like he was trying to be the voice of reason. And I had a lot of criticisms for Hassan Campbell, but in that, whatever the fuck that was, he was the one, at least to the youth guys, made the most fucking sense. I wish I had clips of it. He's telling them, hey, make sure y'all motherfuckers go home. Now he says the other dumb shit. I'm not gonna fucking lie, like all that pulling him out and cringy shit. I keep saying that they do cringy shit. Pull a hammer, block his snot, but cringy shit. I get it. But the advice he was trying to get them guys at some aspects of the interview made a lot of sense. And to me was probably more warranted than anything that they was talking about within what's going on. Right? So, like I said, it's just like at this point with 6ix9ine, in the blackballing, and I don't even think he really gives a fuck about music. He don't really give a fuck about being, a legendary superstar anymore. He knows it's not going to happen. He's blackballed. The playlists don't fuck with him. The industry don't mess with him. And the thing is, the Genie shit that they had on, like his new energy drink, he's got a new NFT with the Genie thing. Get your money. Be weary of the NFT shit. But then he has a label where he's like, now I'm trying to use my influence and my name to put other people on. Do you think it's the smartest thing to sign to a label, to think you're going to have longevity in your career, right? To think you're going to have a prosperous career with a guy who constantly gets on social media and says he's blackballed by the industry? The thing is, you're not 6ix9ine. Anybody that signs to 6ix9ine's label, you're not 6ix9ine. So when you see 6ix9ine use his fame to get millions of views, that's him. That's not you. If you think guys can't get off the ground when they sign to people, and I'm not saying they have it because obviously Rick Ross got Meek Mill, but people say they don't want to sign to Rick Ross because of whatever. They don't want to sign to Yo Gotti because of whatever. They don't want to sign to other artists because their career don't get off the ground. But these guys actually have good standing from what we see within the industry. People fuck with Ross. People fuck with Yo Gotti. If their artists, some of their artists can't get off the ground, what makes you think you're going to get off the ground with a guy who's blackballed by the entire industry? What kind of career move is that? Because like I said, if you're thinking, hey, 6ix9ine has attention, that don't mean that attention is going to transfer over to you. I'm sorry. Just being in proximity of attention may give you subtle attention, but the people are really just enamored by 6ix9ine. They're not enamored by you. You better off doing your own shit, maybe doing a collab with him, but signing to his label? Hey, if you think that's how you're never going to get playlisted, you're never going to do whatever, if you think that's the way to get your career cracking, you wilding out. And that's all I got to say about the label, because I was thinking about that too. I was like, damn, he has a label? Like he's trying to sign artists? Like what artist would want to sign to a label where the owner and CEO of the label is blackballed from the entire industry? How far is an unsigned artist who has no hype, has no fan interaction? They don't even like him. We got artists like I said, we got artists like Coi Leray can only sell 11,000. She got the entire industry, social media fucking with her. If you can't get to a generation of generating a level of attention like 6ix9ine, what's the point of signing to a label owned by that guy? This doesn't make any sense to me. But we live in a world that doesn't make a lot of sense. We just don't do it. So let me see what y'all talking about. So Lydia says street dudes argue online more than anyone. They right up there with baby mamas. Santos Draco says Hassan a goofy. He said if I ever got kidnapped or shotty smashed my chick, I would have gotten busy, but he didn't keep the same energy with the dude who, molested him when he was a child. All he did was shake his hand and forgive him. Bro, 6ix9ine is done. Only reason he trending is because he released one song after 2 years. Yo Gotti, the only one. Yo Gotti got a roster. When I was using Yo Gotti as a reference, I wasn't saying, I know that Charles talking about doesn't think this, but I just want to reflect back on that. Yo Gotti's breaking artists. Like I said, 42 ESTG just dropped an amazing album. Moneybag Yo, amazing. Even Black Youngster, Hate Him 11, he's out there, right? He's not as big as those guys right now, but he's still out there. And the controversy that surrounds him, if he released the album, it wouldn't do numbers. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's all just quick attention grab, all wholesale, run, get it. And, that's how it goes. So, and as far as Hassan and the Africa Bambaataa thing, I mean, I ain't really too adept to touch on things of that nature. Like, if he got molested by Africa Bambaataa when he was 5, was starting at, what do you say, 6 years old, 7 years old, and he decided to forgive that man, even though he also says he kills people, but he didn't kill the man that molested him. There's probably a lot of, you got to think, like, I know we probably don't understand that because we've never been in that situation. There's probably a lot of psychological trauma that goes in with that. Same thing we see with people who have, what's that thing called, when you've been like beaten by a person for so long, or even kids who've been kidnapped by kidnappers for so long. It's called something, some kind of syndrome that you get with that person that mentally you can't, like, I don't know, what is that called? There's some kind of syndrome that you get when you forgive your abuser, or you're so used to your abuser, you still love your abuser. It's some kind of syndrome. I used to watch Criminal Minds, they talk about all the time, but I don't remember. So that was pretty much just my thoughts on the entire podcast that they did together. It's going to get a lot of views. It's going to get talked about, but I don't think it's as impactful as the last one, that they had the last time. Yeah. Ain't he 40 with kids? Yeah, he doing a lot of crazy shit, man. He doing a lot of crazy. I say he does a lot of crazy shit. But in the interview, to me, when he was talking to the young guys in the room, he was the one that was making the most sense, in my opinion. If you actually watch the interview in Stockholm Syndrome, that's what it's called. Stockholm Syndrome. A lot of people have Stockholm Syndrome, where they forgive their abusers. They don't want to prosecute their abusers. They do whatever, with their abusers. So like I said, I've never been in those situations to have been touched, thank God, when I was a child. So I can't really speak on people being touched by, when they were children. So I do want to move on to Hollywood drama and just wildness, right? So we know the R. Kelly types. We know the Bill Cosby accused 80 times. We know the Hugh Hefners, the Harvey Weinsteins, the Roman Polanskis. The list just goes on and on and on of Hollywood sexual assault, children, underage. You want to be a star? I'll make you a star. Something bad happens. It's like a damn movie in a cycle that happens over and over and over and over again. So this is just the latest in this one, right? And this is a young black man who was in the smack dab. Well, he's already been convicted, but he's in the middle of the controversy. So his name is Kalon Walker, and you may not even know who the hell this guy is. I didn't know who the hell. Trailer for talking about, I'm gonna lie, free R. Kelly. That's wild. I don't know. He needs to be locked up. I don't know if he needs to be locked up. Anyways, this is Kalon Walker. He was on a movie called Superfly. It had Halle Berry on it. He was also in another movie that I don't know shit about him. As far as being a premier actor in Hollywood, he wasn't that, but he's known as an actor in Hollywood. So let me read the story behind this guy. We're gonna have a conversation about Hollywood parenting and underage children. So Kalon Walker, 27, was immediately taken into custody and faces up to 100 years to life at sentencing, though his lawyer quickly vowed an appeal. Superfly actor and rapper Kalon Walker was found guilty Monday of, raping 6 victims, 3 of them 16-year-old aspiring models, and sexually assaulting a 7th woman during a series of what prosecutors called sophisticated attacks between 2013 in late 2018. The actor who appeared in Kings with Halle Berry in 2017, Kings was the movie, not Superfly. Well, he was in Superfly, but Halle Berry, Kings, whatever. And played gang member Juju in the 2018 flick Superfly. Hung his head and began sobbing as a split verdict from an LA jury was read. He was acquitted of charges related to 3 of the 10 victims in the case, including 2 charges of forcible rape. He said this: "I didn't rape anyone, Your Honor. I did not rape anybody." Walker, 27, exclaimed as he was led away in handcuffs after the jury departed. He's facing up to 100 years to life. At sentencing, his lawyer, Andrew Filler, and I read that part, he quickly vowed to do the appeal. During her closing arguments last week, Deputy District Attorney Cynthia Wallace called Walker a serial rapist who dubiously name-dropped Drake. He even threw Drake into the mix. Like, he's been, he's using Drake as a catalyst to assault women, right? He's using Drake as like, hey, if you do these things to me, I can get you in the business. I can introduce you to Drake. And they're pretty much saying, motherfucker, you don't even know Drake, right? So she and fellow prosecutor Yasmin Fardihanisium told jurors during the 6-week trial that when Walker combined his minor celebrity status with the little blue check mark on his social media profiles, he was able to disarm his victims' defenses and lure them to a remote location with promises of a photo shoot or video gigs. We feel that I want to read some of these things. That's what I want to do. I want to read some of the stories, right? So, in total, More than 30 women stepped forward with assault claims against Walker. Prosecutors said 3 alleged victims whose allegations did not result in charges, but various reasons were allowed to testify as so-called prior bad act witnesses, meaning their testimony was meant to show Walker had a propensity for committing the charged crimes. One was model Jada Everon, who spoke to Rolling Stone after the verdict and gave permission to use her full name. Everon, now 23, living in Las Vegas, told jurors she was only 16 years old when Walker contacted her on Instagram and promised her a photo shoot. She traveled from Fresno to meet him and was raped in 2014, she testified. He did the same thing to me. He did to others. He mentioned Drake. He name-dropped Drake. He filled me up with a bunch of hopes and dreams. What he said was dramatic. He said, I can make you famous overnight. You can have access to all these famous people I know. It was very dramatic. At that age, I was so naive. I believing everything he said. I thought everything he said was legit. The entire time the assault occurred, every time I said stop or was crying, he would say, you're so immature. I'm not going to help you anymore. I'm going to take it all away from you. He flipped the switch and became a complete predator. So that is pretty much just the, things that these guys do. They take advantage of the youth. They take advantage of children, and they use whatever little connections they have to get them in a room and assault them. I know we have a tendency to like, well, why would the 16-year-old girl go to a room with a guy she doesn't know, yada, 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 because 16-year-olds are fucking idiots. Let's be honest. They're idiots. And even one of the girls I saw that the parents, kind of like the R. Kelly shit, the parents drove their kid to meet with this guy in hopes of a modeling career. And that's where this story comes in, right? So one of the victims described how she was a 16-year-old aspiring model when Walker offered her a photo shoot. She testified that her mother and stepfather drove her to Walker's apartment building. She said he separated her from her family and manipulated her into filming an impromptu sex tape with claims he could introduce her to Drake, and that she never fulfilled her dreams of becoming a Victoria's Secret model without showing a more provocative side. He talked about Drake, taking her to a Drake party. What does he tell her? Well, you know what? If you want to do all these things, if you want to be at parties with Drake, if you want to be a Victoria's Secret model, you know what we have to do? We have to film a sex tape. Wallace said during her closing arguments, he was a 22-year-old man at the time, while she was a 16-year-old, telling her, we have to film a sex tape. So, he's using Drake as the, a club to assault and rape these underage people, right? If he's going to jail, there's about 30, 50 people associated with the situation need to be in there with him, including the parents. Filled her up with, I don't even play like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. No, I didn't do no dumb ish like this when I was 16. I'm not saying it's not just you. It's like, but we know people do a bunch of dumb shit while they're young kids. And even like the parent thing, I understand. I don't think the parents should be in jail, but they're fucking idiots, right? There's like, if I was talking with my wife with this, I was like, if I had a daughter who wanted to be a singer or whatever, and Pharrell was like, hey, I can make you a beat and I can do this for you and I can get you in the studio, I'm not leaving my daughter in the studio. And if Pharrell tells me, hey, Dad, you can't be in the studio, then my daughter's not going to be in the studio. I'm sorry. This is not how we're going to get things done. That's not how we're going to set things up. This is not how we're going to do it. And that's how I feel about it. Trail, you saying, I ain't gonna lie, Trail, I ain't gonna lie. You saying a lot of like questionable, like you had yesterday with all the Diddy shit and the gay, and then today with all the like, you just had a lot of questions. I don't know if you joking, niggas be trolling on the internet. I don't give a damn. 16, 22, yes, it's a 6-year difference. If she was 22, he was 28, we wouldn't give a fuck. But like I said, they're children. And I know we've seen that before. I'm not saying it's not like a thing we haven't seen. We had girls that was in high school when we was in high school that was dating older niggas. At the time, we didn't even think nothing of it. But as a guy who has children and looks at the world from a different angle, in a different place, I see that if my daughter was 16 and she told me, hey, daddy, I'm dating a 22-year-old, I'm not playing around with no shit like that. I'm just not doing it. It's all, because to me, when it gets to that age range, and it's like manipulation, is this, is that. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not fucking around. Now you can say maybe because I have a different outlook than you, maybe you don't have kids, you don't have a daughter. And if you had a 16-year-old daughter and you was cool with her smash 22-year-old, that's you, that's your prerogative. For me, we ain't doing that shit. You turn 18, it's a law, it's legal. We're accustomed to things like that. But when I have a 16-year-old daughter who's probably a sophomore or junior in high school, talk to a 22-year-old man who probably should be, if his life tracks out the way that life is planned to track out for people, out of college, a year removed from college. He's been through the entire college experience, and now he's 1 year into maybe a career. He's dating my 16-year-old sophomore, junior daughter. I look at that as an issue. Now, however you want to govern your life, you don't look at it like an issue. Hey, but for me, especially with everything that goes into it, like it's not even just like, oh, hey, we caught two star-crossed lovers, a 16 and 22-year-old who just happened to meet each other, they fell in love and they whatever. No, this guy who I'm speaking about is coercing these girls just like R. Kelly did, just like many of other famous men have coerced girls into these acts. And I know, like I said, we live in a society where like, well, the girls should, I get that. But I'm still going to hammer down way more on the predator than the victim. And this is my stand. I don't know how everybody else does it, but for me, that's how I look at it. I mean, hey, that's fine. You want to be the contrarian about it, that's fine. What's the difference from 16 and 18 to me is a fucking difference. One's an adult, one's not. One's a junior, sophomore in high school dating a 22-year-old guy who should be 2-3 years moved out of college. I mean, I'm not really going to like continue to debate like I said, when you have a daughter and your 16-year-old daughter says, hey, Dad, I'm dating a 22-year-old and you're cool with it, that's your life, your family, and that's how you want to, that's how you want to govern your life, your family. That's how you want to govern your life and your family. I mean, that's you. But I wouldn't be fucking with it. I ain't gonna lie to you. And like I said, it's not even just the age thing. It's not just, oh, well, she's 16. Because even if she was 18 and he was 22, and he coerced her and raped her, the man still is a rapist. You know what I'm saying? But maybe you're taking out the context. You're talking about the 16, 22-year age thing. But I'm talking about in the context of this, article and this conversation. So, I don't have kids. It would definitely be a problem if my niece saying she's a 22-year-old pulling up, bro, don't handle his ass first. No real growth in 2 years. Our grandparents did it, and they turned out great. That's fine. Like I said, if you have a daughter and you're cool with your daughter dating a 22-year-old when she's 16, sophomore, junior, I know that's how it went back in the old days. I know it's a new shift. But ideas and the world changes. A lot of shit people doing back in the old day that motherfuckers ain't doing today because they realize, hey, it's probably not the best thing that we should be doing. We probably shouldn't be doing this. A couple of things we can name that was going on and cool back in our grandparents' day that we look at today like, you know what? That's probably something that we shouldn't really be, promoting, and probably shouldn't be something that, we got going on. But like I said, trailer photographer, if you have a daughter who's 16, if she come to you and say, Daddy, here's my 22-year-old boyfriend, and you're okay with that, that's you. Me, on the other hand, and my 16-year-old sophomore junior daughter tell me she got a 22-year-old man that's trying to date her. I'm looking at this nigga like he's trying to take advantage of my 16-year-old daughter. That's just me. So anyways, let's get to something a little bit more, on the light end. Let's talk about DJ Envy. So DJ Envy, obviously DJ for The Breakfast Club. Obviously, a crucial part of the Breakfast Club phenomenon in society and whatever. He recently is releasing a book with his wife, right? He is releasing a book. They have a podcast together talking about their love, their life, and it's a spectacle, right? And they're currently on a promo tour for that book. And DJ Envy's wife ended up giving a little bit of information about her and DJ Envy's sex life. I want you to take a little bit of a listen to it, and then let's discuss, let's have a conversation about shit like this.
And I'm sure so many women can relate. Like, you want to reward that man for that work, and the only reward that you have to offer is an orgasm. But even if I didn't feel it, I would still be performative. So yes, I was faking it.
We got into like a argument, and then she was like, well, I don't be having an orgasm. She didn't say it in that. She speaks way more eloquent than I would have. And I was like, what? And she was like, I don't. I'm like, no, yes, you do. I hear it. Like, I'm like, every time? And she was like, yeah. And then that just crushed me because I thought I was putting in work. Like I'm sitting there thinking I'm you know, Big Daddy Long Leg.
So this is like let me preface this, right? So this is one of those things. I get it. We're in an age of transparency, and in context of this conversation, I can look at it like these guys are trying to sell a book, right? And when you're trying to sell a book to people and connect with people, you're selling your lifestyle. You're selling yourself, right? You're trying to sell people on yourself, especially when you're dropping a book about your 27-year-long relationship, your ups, downs, your struggles, your this and that. So being transparent is probably what's going to bring you the most conversation and attention. But I kind of feel like how I feel about this the same way I feel about the Will Smith shit. It's like, why do we have to sit down and discuss shit like this to the people? That only makes me look bad. And behind closed doors, I know they don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck? We've been together for 27 years. I cheated on you publicly with Erica Mena. You forgave me. I got on the radio pleading for you to get with me. We have 7 kids together. We're rich. We're living a life, whatever. But it's like some things, like we live in an age of transparency where we must just tell every little thing that we've ever done and every little tidbit of our relationship. Don't tell people you've been faking orgasm for 10 years. And he discussed on the Breakfast Club, he just said, like, you know, they got together when they were 16 and 15. He just said, like, you know, they got together when they were 16 and 15 years old, and they've been together for the past 27 years. And I guess he said the first 10 years of the relationship, so I'm assuming from they're both 16 to when they are 26, she was faking orgasm the entire time. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He thought he was stroking it good. He thought he was doing this, thought he was doing that. But, you know, obviously that wasn't the case. And obviously social media it just gives you the same Will Smith vibes. Like Jada just can't stop saying shit about Will. Jada just can't stop disparaging this man in public. Every time she get on a platform, she got to say something that kind of like, in the public view, takes down their manhood a little bit. Because like I said, behind closed doors, Will and Jada probably don't give a fuck. They laugh, they talk shit. DJ and his wife, I'm sure behind closed doors, they're laughing, they don't whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't, as a person who is a celebrity, you want to be transparent, but you don't want your transparency to like impact you in a detrimental way. And when your wife is always constantly saying little shit about you, and I don't even use the word emasculating you, but kind of publicly emasculating you in certain ways, it's kind of like, let's put a pause on that, right? And I told my wife this. I said, hey, this podcast shit gets big, and let's say me and you start a podcast together, I don't need you to ever like publicly just say wild shit like, oh, his sex wasn't good, or oh, he don't do this. Like, we talk about that shit behind closed doors. Let's not talk about that shit out in the light and out in public. Oh, I was reading something. But I don't know. It's just, I mean, they got to sell a book. It's done with it. Like, at the end of the day, what they set out to do with doing interviews, with doing conversation, with doing whatever, has done what it had to do, and it's generated conversation around them. And although we might not look at it as like, hey, that makes me want to buy their book, there may be people that are aware, at least now, they're selling a book, and people will go out and in turn buy that book from them. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. I don't think anything was going to like destroy his career over this. But like I said, it just gives me Will Smith vibes where it's like every time we're out in public, we got to kind of say something to like knock me down a bit. Because could you imagine if DJ Envy said, man, I ain't gonna lie, for the first 10 years, that pussy wasn't making me nut. That shit was trash. I was sitting there faking like I was nutting and shit like that. I was just doing all that. Could you imagine if he said that, the shit storm that would probably rain down on DJ Envy from women on social media? But it's just the society that we currently live in right now. So anyways, Lydia said, to be fair, they was with each other first, and she was talking. I read that part. Still wouldn't have said it in public though. What do you even know about faking an orgasm as a teenager, or if you're still that early on in your sex career, for lack of a better term, if women would stop capping and be honest. Also, I think this is gonna get worse. She's kind of done shit like this before. Didn't she cheat on him too? I don't know. I don't know if she. I know his shit was public. Like I know his shit was like Erica Mena. He apologized on the Breakfast Club. He cried on the Breakfast Club. I remember all that. I don't know if she cheated on him. But like I said, in the grand scheme of their life, doesn't really do shit because they are married for 27 years. They got like 8 kids. I think they just had a newborn like 4 months ago. So they're still producing kids even 20 years into the relationship. But like I said, it's just something like, all right, we can get it. Okay, let's figure out how to create and generate headlines without it being like something to my demise or to my detriment. Because we ain't gonna generate headlines off your demise and your detriment. Let's say your inabilities in the bedroom and your inabilities as a wife. But it's free game to note some of my inabilities as a husband or as a man in this relationship. And that's what you see going on here. So I got one more thing. I did want to, I can just briefly touch on this. This is really what I want to talk about. But the guy who sold Mac Miller, we got Mac Miller right here. You can't really see him. The camera ain't wide enough. But the guy who sold him the fentanyl that killed him ended up getting sentenced to 11 years in prison the other day for providing Mac Miller with the fentanyl-laced drugs. And I'm sure a lot of people out there that are cocaine dealers today are a little bit, I don't know if I want to really get into this cocaine business. I don't know if this cocaine business is worth it. You know what I'm saying? And to get into that. Lydia says it's common for women to fake, though. That's what I'm saying. If you fake, don't tell me. Don't tell me. And even if you do tell me, don't get on the shade room and tell 20 million people. Don't do that. I'm going to assume you are like an internet troll type of person. And I get what you're saying, right? Because I thought about this. I thought about the Mac Miller thing. Like, is this guy, like what is the charge for him? I know Mac Miller died, but also for the guy's defense, wouldn't it be like, hey, well, I didn't like inject this into him. I just sold him some shit that I received from somebody. Like, I don't know. Within the trial, if they found out that he laced the fentanyl. Now, if he laced it with the fentanyl, I can see how a charge could, take place. But is he just an underling to the person that laced it with the fentanyl? If he's just a foot soldier who's just selling dope to celebrities and he didn't know there's fentanyl, in what way could he be charged? I understand that logic. And like I said, I didn't read the entire case file. So I would have a little bit of a thing if that was the case. Like, hey, I'm just a guy selling drugs, and it just so happened that this guy died because, like I said, I didn't inject him myself or I didn't make him snort it. He was acquiring it from me because he wanted to actually buy drugs from me. So I can see how it is a tricky situation. But at the end of the day, when a celebrity dies of a fentanyl overdose, and then we have an opioid fentanyl crisis going on in America, the government or local police forces will hold accountable whoever. Even the same thing with the guy who just died. I don't even remember what his name is. The black guy who got the scar on his face. He was on The Wire. I forgot what his name is. But even him, they're going after his drug dealers as well, because he died from stuff that, they provided, right? So that's just consequences of, selling dope and being in that lifestyle and doing those type of things. If we can't get your person, your top guy, your Colombian or your Mexican drug dealer who's getting you the shit in America, they're just gonna get you. It's the same thing that happens with these people use. It blows my mind as well when I see certain things in criminal justice. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know. Like when you see people commit a robbery together, right? So say me, Trell, who's in here, Lydia, and the sensei, we commit a robbery. We rob this person, and we all know we're robbing this person. And then that person who we're robbing kills one of us. And then now, because that person got killed while we was committing robbery, now we are then charged also, not just for robbery, we're charged for the murder of the person that was committing the robbery with it. I don't know how that works. I guess it's just like, hey, y'all put yourself in there. Y'all put this person in that situation. So that's why y'all are getting charged for the murder. But there's a lot of things that go on, that we don't know about. They don't get it from China. Asians are moving to Mexico to make it for the cartels. They're not going to catch people doing. We know they're not going to catch. That's how it goes. They don't never catch the top guy. They always catch the little guys, and they just lock them niggas up. That's pretty much how they do it. Because that guy who sold Mac Miller that fentanyl, he was easily replaced with somebody else who will sell the fentanyl for, like y'all say, the people from where the opioid is produced, which is most likely in Asia, and then it gets shipped over here on containers. It gets shipped over to, all these different places and created. Right? That's how it typically goes. Even shit like that. Even like, what's the guy? The American Gangster guy. Like, we caught him, but y'all ain't catch. Like, if you watch, there's a documentary on, I think it's HBO Max, that details what's it called? Is it the Iron Triangle? I don't know. It's just the Chinese, I don't even know if it's Chinese, but the Asian opioid conglomerate that supplies the world the most of the illegal opioids in the world. It's an HBO Max documentary. I think y'all can go and check that out. So anyways, this is the last thing I got to talk about. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this. Right? I was not going to talk about this. Because I didn't really, that's people. It's people's lives. I continue to always say, like, people don't do what they want to do with their lives. People do what they want to do with their kids. I'm fine with it. That's cool. But I'm like, all right, let me talk about it. So, we all know it's Easter weekend over the weekend. And Dwayne Wade and his family decided to release, family photos. We're hanging out with the family for Easter. We got Dwayne Wade and Gabby Union. We got, I think, his oldest son, Zaire, and his girlfriend are taking a photo. And then we got, little Zaya over there, Dwayne Wade's transgender child with her boyfriend. And whatever, innocent, little friends. It's cool. You're young. Like I said, if it was me and I had a 14-year-old daughter, she wouldn't be having no little boyfriends coming up for Easter. I'm sorry, that's just me. But, that's Dwayne Wade shit. But then it took a different type of turn, right? It took a different twist in the plot of the story. So then pictures start popping up on the internet of in front of the same backdrop that they just took the family photo of the two 14-year-old kids kissing. And I was just confused. I'm like, why are we, what type of society are we going in where parents are just like openly allowing their kids to be, first of all, the trans thing is whatever, like I said, it's your kid, you do what you want to do with your kid, you want to love your kid, or you love your kid, I don't really care about that. But then we got these kids making out at 14 years old, people are posting it, people are promoting it, they're like, oh my God, yes girl, do your thing. It's just wild to me. And it's not me saying that I'm surprised 14-year-olds are kissing, because I was 14-year-old at one time as well. But I was never openly able to do PDA in front of my parents and openly do this and put pictures of 14-year-olds kissing and people are praising on social media like it's the next coup de grace, it's the greatest thing. There's still little kids in the day. What are we cheering about little kids kissing on social media? I don't understand what that is. And it made me feel like also, and I know this may be a wrong thing to say, D. Wade still looks at his transgender child, his daughter. I feel like he still looks at him as like, he still handles him like a boy. It's either two things. Either he still handles him like a boy, because like I said, a lot of men, when they see their sons doing shit, they don't really care. But I honestly, this is me believing, if Zaya Wade was a biological female, D. Wade would not be having his 14-year-old daughter kissing some guy at the family function. There's no way. He wouldn't be. Now, maybe he would. I don't know. But I just don't feel like he would have his 14-year-old daughter kissing some little boy. Like not even like a little kiss on the cheek. I'm talking about kissing at his family function. I just don't think that'd be happening. But then also made me think, like, I wonder if we're getting to a place in America where as parents, certain parents are trying to like morality signal that they're just so accepting of everything. They'll allow their child to do whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, if you have a kid who says they're gay, love your kid. I think parents who kick their kids out of the house because they tell them they're gay are pieces of shit. That's just me. I think you're a piece of shit for kicking your kid out. If your kid tells you they're trans or whatever, and you kick them out, make them homeless, I think you're a piece of shit. You got to kind of deal with it within your home. I think if you don't, you're a piece of shit. I don't think D-Wade's a bad father for allowing his child to express himself. That's cool. When I get to the kissing and people are praising on social media and they're doing this, doing that, I'm just thinking, what type of society are we building here? You know, I already know America's a fucked up society, but it's the praising of it on social media that is just weird to me. Like, these are still 14-year-old kids at the end of the day on social media, kissing each other. You have the social media Twitter people clapping. Oh, go girl, do your thing. Oh, that's so cute. We love it. We ain't doing it. And like I was saying, I think it's like we're getting to a point where it's like parents are forced to try to look good in front of their children because, like I said, I feel like that indoctrination shit, the children in the schools, hey, this is good, this is good, this is evil, this is evil. If your parents don't do this, they might not be good people. So with D Wade, he's like, fuck, I already accepted the trans thing, which salute to him. That's your life. Do what you want to do. I got to kind of accept everything. Even if I don't want to accept everything, now I'm at the point where I just got to accept anything and everything. And I think that's wild. And I think that's a dangerous place to go in society where we have to just accept anything that kids want to do in this society. Think about this. Like, they tell me that kids can change their gender whatever age. They're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not saying it's happening actively right now, but there's people on social media that say it could happen. If it happens, it happens. Something like that's permanent puberty blockers, this and that. They can do all that, but I can't get a tattoo till I'm 18. I can't smoke till I'm 18. I can't even vote for an election until I'm 18. But you're telling me I can do this at any age? When you start to look at shit like, does that really make too much sense? I can do this altering thing with my hormones and body modifications. They want it to be whatever. Because like I said, some places they're trying to say, hey, it's going to be, if you don't allow your kid to do this, it's child abuse. The guy here in Texas, he says, if they do it, it's child abuse. I think people should be able to do what they are. But it's just confusing that they can do that, but they can't do these things. Can't vote, can't get a tattoo, you can't smoke, whatever. But these things you can do. It's just a little bit, weird in my head. It's a little bit weird in my mind. So at the end of the day, I don't even know, honestly, at the end of the day. I think we're just going to and I think it's going to get bad, like I said, all the time for Democrats, because it seems like they're the ones that's pushing shit like this. And when you try to tell parents what to do, their children, it's never going to work out for you in the long run. That's just my thoughts. That's how I feel about that. Salute to everybody. Peace and love. Make sure you follow, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Also, follow me on social media. Social medias are posted right here. If you're not following me on social media, make sure you go and follow right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can go to SoundCloud. You can go to Spotify. You can go to iTunes. Search up D-Friend Daily. And you can find all the audio versions of the podcast that you may have missed there. Oh, you can't smoke until you're 21 now? I know that. But anyways, I'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Actually, Absolute Insure is tomorrow. So I might not do my solo show, but Absolute Insure will definitely be tomorrow. So make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends. Share the podcast with your people. Appreciate you guys for watching, tuning in, listening. I'll see you tomorrow. It's your boy D-Friend. Peace.